Here's the thing. When someone becomes increasingly assertive in a relationship, it's often because their partner has pushed them to that point. No one is inherently domineering, but if you find yourself in an environment where you have no one to rely on, and you experience repeated disappointments and solitary breakdowns, you realize that you can only depend on yourself. Consequently, you're compelled to become stronger to protect yourself from harm. If you've noticed that your personality has shifted from being gentle to becoming more domineering, easily irritated, and inclined to control everything in your relationship, it's likely because your partner is emotionally absent. This typically manifests in three ways. On the one hand, their neglect and lack of communication trigger your need for control. We all seek a sense of security in intimate relationships, similar to a baby in its mother's arms. However, if your partner consistently ignores you and fails to respond to your emotions, you can't achieve this feeling of security. Your expectations for them remain high, so you try desperately to hold on to them, believing that only by controlling everything about them can you prove you're loved in this relationship. This is why you gradually become more controlling. The root of this need for control is a fear of the unknown. The negative emotions you experience in the relationship stem from a lack of security it provides. The second point is your partner's avoidance and irresponsibility force you to shoulder the burden alone. A healthy, normal, intimate relationship requires both parties to share responsibilities and be accountable to each other. When one person fails to carry their weight, the other must compensate. For instance, I've mentioned before that men lacking masculine energy are often irresponsible and lack commitment. In a family where the husband is irresponsible, where masculine energy is missing, the wife feels compelled to embody this masculine energy to maintain the family's balance. Simply put, if the man of the house is no longer strong, who else but the wife can support it? The wife ends up playing both roles, bearing a double burden, which becomes exhausting over time. Even the most emotionally stable person can break down over small issues when faced with this long-term, one-sided effort and sense of helplessness. The only recourse is to continually criticize the husband, demanding he meet her expectations, using assertiveness to alleviate her own sense of helplessness. Outsiders may only see the wife's aggression, without noticing the husband's weakness and irresponsibility towards the family. The third point is your partner reawakens and repeats your childhood trauma. Many people who appear assertive on the surface actually have a weak inner child in their subconscious, putting on a facade of strength. The inner child represents your childhood self on a psychological level. If you were neglected, criticized, or repressed by your parents while growing up in a high-pressure environment, you gradually internalize their criticisms and belittlement, etching your parents' perceptions deep within your psyche. When you enter an intimate relationship later in life, if you experience something reminiscent of your childhood trauma, it awakens your subconscious inner child who still carries your parents' perceptions. This inner child warns you that your partner, like your parents, doesn't care about you and will hurt you. Consequently, you exhibit assertive, even confrontational behavior to protect yourself. People with fragile inner children are prone to developing what psychology terms as the identified patient personality, desperately needing their partner to fulfill their expectations. Sometimes, it's not that your partner is truly neglecting you, but rather that your expectations of them are too high. When they fail to meet these expectations, you're automatically reminded of your unfulfilled childhood. So, if you find yourself becoming more assertive in your relationship, consider what's causing this change. Is it because your expectations of your partner are too high, making you feel an overwhelming need for control? If so, you need to learn to lower your expectations of them, shifting from external demands to internal focus. Pay more attention to your inner self and continuously strengthen the power you desire within. However, if your partner is someone who avoids issues, doesn't communicate, and is irresponsible, remember what I've said before. We must find responsible partners. In this case, you might want to consider finding someone who can share responsibilities with you. A partner who knows how to listen, accepts your emotions, and is responsible for your relationship can heal your past traumas and fill in what you're missing. Under such nurturing conditions, you will gradually become both soft and strong, not assertive, but internally responsible and powerful. If you enjoyed this series, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Your free likes are the greatest encouragement for me. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.